Thank you very much for joining us. We've had a couple of guests who have been with us before and representing the ALS organization. And on my immediate left is Brian Griggs and Matt Chaney. Matt, nice to see you again too. Okay, you've got a number of events coming up. Let me ask you this, both of you this. Has there any progress been made in the fight against ALS at all? I mean, is there any optimism from either one of you?
Yes. In the last 10 years, technology has allowed advancements in research.
Is research the answer on this? I guess raising the money that you are for the different events we're going to talk about is really always seems to be the answer
for both research and
research
treatments
and
ultimately care for the patients also.
Okay, well, let's get to the events coming up. First of all, you've got one in June. It's golf that Matt just mentioned.
Yep.
And where is that going to be?
Orinda Country Club in Orinda, so just over the hill from Berkeley. It's June 25th, and it's this will be our 6th year. We've raised a little over $400,000 in those 6 years. And
do you have to be a great golfer to be out there?
No, no. In fact, you get to play with a pro in your group. So if you
that's scary.
If you can come up and you can hit it partway down to the pro, always hit the good shot for you.
Yeah,
sure.
You don't swing it like this, like I do with a golf club. It's not like that. Huh?
No, it's the opposite direction.
Okay, all right. I should learn that by now. And you've also in Napa Valley is the bicycle ride. Is that a race or is it just a lot of people participating?
Not a race.
Not a race.
It is at Yorkville. In the valley, and we're expecting 300 or more participants. A lot of fun.
Okay, so it's that's a number of people you think you're going to get out there, and so they're
300 riders. Our anticipated revenue goal is $320,000. So each rider will get sponsors, and it's at Yountville. We have 4 different tracks, so you can go anywhere from 5 miles to 100 miles.
Okay, all right. One of the things that I always wonder, and people, like being a person, I wonder the same things. When you get money like that from, let's say, that bike ride, or you raise money, $350,000. How do you get rid of that money? In other words, where does it go, and what happens to it?
Well, there's really 3 integrated buckets. What we do is we provide support and care services for patients who are inflicted by the disease and their families. It's very expensive to treat an ALS patient, as much as $200,000 a year, and a very, very small amount is covered by insurance. We also fund research. The ALS Association's funded $60 or $70 million of research, and sometime we're going to find something to treat this. And the third one's public policy. We recently have a checkoff bill in the state. If anyone wants to donate some of their refund towards the ALS Association, we'd graciously thank them.
Always glad to take it.
Anytime.
Like that. And Matt, do you go into treatment now? Do you go in?
Unfortunately, there is no treatment available besides one drug that has a minimal effect.
I see.
So,
okay. All right, well, we're going to take a break now. We're going to come back. We're going to do a second segment on this, okay? And we'll go from there. Matt Chaney and Brian Griggs are our guests. We're talking about ALS. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining us. Matt Chaney and Brian Griggs are back with us once again. Matt, is afflicted with ALS, and Matt and Brian's been working for 5 years with the ALS Association, and we're going from there. I was asking when we were here before if there were other kinds of treatment. There's no cure, but there are therapies or things that you might go to, Matt, or people with ALS?
Not for the disease itself, but for the symptoms.
Muscular things, and that
everything from speech, cramping, breathing. There are many symptoms a patient will have when muscles no longer work.
Okay. Now, if I remember right, when you were here before, that ALS hits people primarily in the prime of life. Am I mistaken in that? Do I remember correctly?
Yes, it's mostly age 45 to 52 in that range.
Something like that. And in the Bay Area, do we have, how many people do you estimate would have ALS?
The occurrence rate nationally is about 6 per 100,000. So if you look at the Bay Area, you probably have 600 maybe. If there's 10 million, I don't know the population.
Is this a hereditary disease?
Only in about 9% of the cases. It's what we call familial.
But there is some element of that.
Some of the cases have a familial gene. And if you carry that gene, then you're...
Okay. Well, now the events you've got coming up are, of course, as we mentioned before, to raise money for various reasons connected with ALS. But let's go back to the Napa Valley event, for example. Now, that's June 30th. And that's come one, come all, bring your bicycle? Is that
bring
right?
your bicycle,
tricycles,
bring your
tricycles?
Bring your friends' money, and bring your money. We do have the basic bike ride, but the real purpose is raising the $320,000 that the goal is. And so each rider will have, a little bit more than 300 riders based upon the last 7 years we've had this event.
Yeah, you've had a big turnout in this.
We have. We've raised over $2 million.
Good for you.
And been able to deploy all that money.
Okay, Napa Valley, but where does it start in Napa Valley?
It starts at the Veterans Hall in Yountville.
Oh, yeah.
And there are 4 different links of routes. So for anyone from almost on a tricycle, you could probably do the 2-mile link.
Well, you're looking at me and smiling. You think you thought I was kidding. I love my tricycle.
I ride a trike.
Okay.
And Matt rides a 3-wheel, what they call a trike, and lays back.
They have
so
trikes, that's right.
Jack, you can do that with him.
That's right. And then the golf is in June.
June 25th.
Also, but earlier in June.
Yep, the week before, Rinda Country Club. It's a program. This will be our 6th year. And our revenue goal will be a little more than $100,000.
Yeah. And
it'll be interesting this year. We unfortunately have had our 4th member at Orinda Country Club in 5 years pass away from ALS, which is statistically, based upon the 6 per 100,000, almost unheard of. Yeah,
it is. And there are other events now. You've got other events that are scattered around. Is that right? But I want to concentrate on these because these are coming up soon. But there are other events.
On our website, you can see the links to all of the walks we have and other philanthropic kind of awareness events.
Is there a public awareness that's growing, do you think?
There is. Actually, this week in Washington, D.C., there's a huge advocacy program going on where our constituents are walking the halls and pushing what we can.
All right. Well, I wish all of you well. And Matt, good seeing you, and I wish you especially well. Okay. Matt Chaney and Brian Griggs have been our guests. Thank you very much for joining us.